Hello, Don here. Welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. We're helping you get your practice to the $1 million mark and beyond. I want to chat a little bit today about a presentation that Faye gave us. So Faye is a virtual assistant that we have from the Philippines. She currently does our helps with our website. So I found her as I was looking to make additions to our Kajabi website, and she made some nice websites, so she helped, and then she just kind of does other things. So it kind of expands how she helps us. But right now she is taking the YouTube shorts that I record on Submagic, Submagic. It's an app. I upload them into the website right from my phone, and she uploads them, or does not her, but one of her people on her team does the transcripts in the video and uploads them to YouTube, and then from YouTube it automatically goes to all the other social medias. She also sends out like a weekly email. Her staff does. I kind of help them with it. They also do a weekly blog that helps with SEO, specifically to our urgent care lately. And then she also sends out either the blog or my weekly emails to all of my patients. So we have about 25,000 patients. Recently, we've expanded her ability to help us. We've given her access to our new EMR, which is ModMed. And inside of there, she can help us now to track where our referrals, so like attribution for our referrals for online marketing. So she has not been helping with like Google My Business or Google Maps stuff. And she hasn't been helping with like AdWords or Google Business, like money, things that we're paying there. So she did a presentation for us today, and currently I think we're paying about $1,200 to her company, and it's been really helpful. She's gotten more searches. Our numbers on our website have gone up. We've gotten more patients. It was kind of, she's the one that did the urgent care page and all the blogs that point to it that are ranking for SEO. And so we're doing well. And she specifically has some good talent from the Philippines. And so what I thought was interesting, I want to share with her presentation she made to us today, is that she kind of explained what she is doing and kind of what the thoughts are. So the thought is now she's wanting us to spend, instead of $1,500 or $1,200, she wants to spend $4,000. And with that, she's going to start taking care of all the social media, which I don't know how much I believe in all the social media stuff, frankly, but we're going to try it for 3 months. So I'm thinking $12,000 or $15,000 isn't a big spend to see if it affects and moves the needle a lot. But more importantly, what she's going to do is on these pages, she's going to set up a kind of a way that people can get help like instantly, and she's going to have an operator, a Filipino operator, calling these patients that are show interest in helping to make them appointments right away. So what I like is the proactive nature of then following up with patients and making appointments for them. So she's going to do all of that, and along with the social media, and she's going to add specific pages so we can have better attribution for a lot of our ads. More than just people calling up for an appointment, they're actually going to call them actively and try to get them in as patients. So I thought it was kind of interesting. She's had our trust, but what was great about her presentation today is that she showed offshore prices, which is $4,000, and for the same thing that we would do onshore or on the United States would be $30,000 for having these people on our team. Now, I don't know if it's exactly that, but I do feel like we're saving quite a bit. So I will let you know as we increase our ad spend. And what really kind of made me want to do this is there's a good book by Alex Hormozi, $1 million leads and $1 million offers. And in the leads book, it kind of talks about the cost to acquire a patient, and then customer acquisition costs, but for me it's patient acquisition cost, and then the lifetime value. And for us, basically each of our patients that we get in is worth about $150, right? That's about our per visit value, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on what we're doing. And right now, we're basically spending almost nothing. I think it's $6 per patient to get them in the door. And because we're not doing that much marketing, we're not spending that much. We have a lot of other overhead expenses, but our marketing expenses aren't that much. So as we start spending, and even if the cost to acquire that goes up more, it's still going to be very profitable because of the large amount that we earn. So this is why I wanted her to help with this. And she's also going to help with the AdWords and Facebook ads. I'm not sure if she knows how to do all this, so basically I gave her these 2 books to read, these PDFs, $1 Million Leads and Offers. This is the type of marketing that I want for my office, and I want her to learn how to do it and then do it that way. And then basically if it's not to my expectations or what I think should be done, then I'd like her to do it a different way. So I'm just kind of letting you know it's taking some courage to do this, but like before I was just meeting with her individually, and she needed to present it to our team, so the other 3 doctors. And by doing that, there was able to get buy-in so that I can easily pay this money. Because this money is very little if you think about it. Like in the end of the year, let's say it's even $5,000 a month, that's like $60,000. In the grand scheme of thing of how much we produce, it's not really that much divided by the 4 doctors. And if it basically, I told them, I said, I want this to pull the future forward. And what that means is, like the young doctor that we have here is not as busy. I want to get him really busy really fast. Now, I think as we're doing this, something's going to break in our system, and it might even be the phone calls and being able to like service all these patients. But right now, we do have more capacity than we do patients, and so to fill all these gaps up. So I think in the end, let's say we can fill this up and he earns more money, I think that in and of itself will pay it. If he makes $5,000 more a month, that would actually pay for it. So anyway, that was my rant about today in our meeting with Faye. Okay, I want to talk about the day. This is first patient of the day was a 55-year-old female. She was here for a lamisil booster. So that's where I see them, make sure there's some proximal clearing, and I give them more terbinafine. I'm going to see her back. Never. Just kidding. But she needs me. But she's doing really well with the terbinafine. Next was a 26-year-old man who had a left fourth metatarsal IPK, or porokeratoma. I did lesion destruction on that, so there was a procedure. And then I did an x-ray. Next patient was a 71-year-old female. She had some questions on her KeryFlex. Now, this was kind of probably my least valuable patient of the day. She had KeryFlex, was concerned about possible water getting underneath it. Her nail tech said that she should be afraid of this and things like that. So when I see things like this, it makes me think, well, how can I have this never happen again? Because I spent like 20 minutes of my life talking about water getting underneath the nail and KeryFlex, and a visit that probably didn't need to happen. So what that makes me think of is when I do KeryFlex, I could simply print out kind of a page like I do with my treatment sheets of some of the common questions and concerns that patients have with KeryFlex, like what happens if it cracks, what happens if I get water underneath it, what happens if there is a green nail underneath it, is it safe to do it, why is this better than acrylic? Like all these questions that she was asking me, I could make in one page and give it to everyone. So I could always answer the same questions that they ask me over and over again. This is why I like treatment sheets, because you can answer a lot of the same questions that you get all the time. So this is just a word to the wise. Like if you get a lot of the same questions, put it in a page or on your website, preferably on a piece of paper because it's easier, and just give that to every patient. It just saves a lot of questions. Like for warts, I do that. For plantar fasciitis, I do that. For other things, it can just preemptively answer the questions that are in their head. Next was a 39-year-old man. He had a left second met head pain. He actually didn't want x-rays. He showed me his x-rays, and I'm finding this more and more. Like he showed me x-rays on his phone. This is from an Epic system that he gets from one of the institutions here, and I reviewed it, and they were non-weight-bearing, but they were kind of good enough, and he really just needed it orthotics. So I made orthotics for him, and since he was having this chronic pain, he did want an MRI, so we ordered an MRI. I don't think it's going to show anything, but we did the MRI, and then if it shows something, then I talked to him about doing shockwave on that second met head for that possible metatarsalgia or capsulitis. Next was a 71-year-old man for number 2 out of 4 for shockwave to the first metatarsal. So this gentleman, he had an MRI. It showed bone marrow edema on the first metatarsal neck, possible stress fracture, and he wanted to heal this faster because it's been going on for a long time. And so we're doing focused only, or this was actually soft wave. Focused only, and he's doing it every 3 days. So he wanted to, once again, he wants to speed up the process. I think patients pay for speed, and for with shockwave, if you do it, you can do it every 3 days, and so we're gonna schedule those every 3 days for him. He's also in a cam boot. Then also, instead of just doing the shockwave, he had questions about a toenail, so I took a nail sample. So I did an office visit for that nail sample today. Then now we get into like all these. I did a lot of matrices today. So 88-year-old female for I did a matrixectomy procedure. for this, for one edge of her toenail. Next was a 37-year-old female. She had a medial hallux bilaterally matrixectomy. Did that. Both those I'm going to see in 3 weeks. That's when I see my matrix is back. Next was a 75-year-old female for a right lateral hallux matrixectomy. You'll see her back in 3 weeks. And then there was another 73-year-old for a right hallux IND, so not a matrix, but an IND for that one. Another patient, this was a patient with a 92-year-old man. He came in with a left second metatarsal head pain with blood underneath a callus, and I debrided the callus and it showed an ulcer, so I did ulcer debridement, so that procedure code. I gave him a surgical shoe with a peg assist. Those are those little pegs that you pull out of the shoe that fits in the surgical shoe. Did x-rays, and I set up visiting nurses because he's 92 and is not that mobile. And I also did nail care. So I'm going to see him back in 2 weeks for the ulcer and then 3 months for the nails. And then if VNA is set up, I might push that out a little bit longer in the future. Next was a 79-year-old for also a partial nail avulsion on the lateral hallux, and also a dispensing of a left AFO. So medial blaze AFO, I dispensed that to the patient. It felt good, and I did the nail procedure. So with AFOs, there is a billing AF DME thing within ModMed, and I bill it when I dispense it to the patient. Next was a 88-year-old female. She had cellulitis a couple weeks ago. I did a follow-up for that. It's totally better, so she responded well to the antibiotic. Next was a 59-year-old for right gout, had swelling, and was on prednisone and indomethacin from the urgent care. Came in, got an x-ray, is doing better, no follow-up. So one thing I was thinking about today is a lot of these patients I'm getting x-rays on, and I've talked to a lot of these some other doctors, I guess, that finished our residency that are working for other doctors, and they don't get as aggressive x-rays. I've never had a problem with an x-ray being done, and I frankly, very rarely do they get them when they're not necessary, my staff, but they get them for everything that hurts. So, I just want to emphasize this here now. We're not skimpy on our x-rays. We have a really easy system, and we get x-rays pretty much for everything. Maybe if it's purely like a wart, I'm not going to get it. But if it's like an IPK, there could be a bone underneath it, a metatarsal, prominence, bunions, most things, heel pain, Achilles pain, pretty much every type of pain, I'm going to get x-rays. So I just wanted to emphasize that for some of you that might not be doing as many x-rays. If it's hard to do, then you're not going to do as many. If it's easy to do, and if you preemptively teach your staff to do it, some patients, the patients don't want to get it right away, but I find a lot of times it's how the staff present x-rays. The doctor wants to get x-rays before you be seen. And occasionally they might overdo them, but it's much better that way than it is for me to have to go in, see the patient, then have them get an x-ray. It just really throws things behind. So I just wanted to kind of explain that. Next was number 6 out of 6 for a 43-year-old female, shockwave for the tibialis anterior at the insertion of the dorsal foot. She's feeling much better. She also has a wart. I'm treating her, so I did an office visit because I prescribed her imiquimod. And I'm going to see her in 2 months. She did not want to do cantharidin on her wart because she's an avid runner. And last time we did it really blistered up. So she's doing the topical stuff, and then I did salicylic acid last time. But since the shockwave is every week, I think the global is 10 days for a wart. I think, I could be wrong, or it's not a week. And so I couldn't do another lesion destruction for that one. And really, I don't think the salicylic would have moved the dial a lot for that one. Next was a 39-year-old female. She had right foot extensor tendinitis to the extensor tendons. And so, once again, I took my foam ball thingy, my orb, and I rolled it on her front of her leg, taught her some exercises, gave her meloxicam, contrast baths, and did an x-ray, and I'm going to see her back as needed. If it continues to be painful, then I'll do an ultrasound for her in the future. Next was a patient with a 76-year-old female. She was hiking in Portugal about a month ago, and she had left ankle pain. Well, she said it was ankle pain. We got x-rays. It ended up being the sinus tarsi when I pushed there, and so I did an injection with cortisone. I'll see her back if that doesn't resolve it, but no follow-up for her. And next was a 71-year-old man who had flat feet. I've seen him before for orthotics. He got orthotics. Now, I've mentioned this before, but whenever I do orthotics from one company and they come back, I always use the same company. So I normally use Forward Motion for most of mine. And frankly, I think it's mostly due to price. It's slightly cheaper than Northwest, but I do feel like Northwest is a superior product. So he had Northwest before, so I did another Northwest orthotic for him. But it's just like it's a little bit more expensive in terms of what we pay. I think we pay like $120 for Northwest and maybe $98, so it's $20 difference. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's probably better to get the better orthotic. I don't know why I feel it's better. I'm just used to their carbon graphite type of devices. Sorry, forward motion, but I mostly use forward motion, so I think the scanner is easier. But actually, let me just go down this rabbit hole a little bit. We used to use Northwest for everyone. What happened is when they had original scanner system, it wasn't the structure scanner, and it wasn't good, and it was a pain to cast people. So because it was such a bad system, we found a different system, which is forward motion. They have a very easy scanning system and prescribing system, and that's why we switched. Now, since then, Northwest has gone back, and they have a really easy system and really easy prescription method. So, it's a better product now. It wasn't in the beginning, which kind of frustrated us, and that's what we left. Now, the price is kind of secondary because $20 in the end, if there's less returns and it's a better product in general for the patient, it might be worth that. Same thing with like cam boots, for example. We've kind of did some chintzy cam boots, and now we have the better ones. I slip in my mind right now those gray ones that everyone uses at the hospital. It'll come Aircast. I'm sorry. I think it's a better product than some of the other ones. Sorry, all the other reps, but I think Aircast is just a good product. That might be listening to this, and so we've tried other ones that were chintzier. The Velcro didn't work, things like that. So it's better to have a better product, pay a little bit more, so there's less complaints. Next was an 18-year-old female. She was here with her dad. She did Swift number 1. I was really pleased. She really didn't have that much pain, so this is number 1 out of 4 that she scheduled. And the last patient of the day was a 52-year-old with right cantharidin for a heel wart. So that was the day. Once again, hope you guys found this beneficial. I always try to kind of share daily insights. I've gotten a couple of emails, so certainly if you have any other insights that you're doing that I'm not, shoot me an email, Don at Podiatry Practice Mastery. I also I had a new subscriber to the Practice Mastery Academy. I keep it real cheap. It's $97, and then when you get that, if you have any specific areas that you want to learn, shoot me an email and I'll kind of guide you, because it's kind of overwhelming when you get the academy because it goes over all the content, but there's usually 1 or 2 things that people are interested in. So this is for you if you have time and you want to watch these videos. If you want more direct help, I would do that. We're doing this challenge, this 6-month challenge for your practice to bring it to the $1 million mark and beyond. I'd love to have you be part of that. If you're interested, shoot me an email. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.